Paris once again became the center of the world's attention, but this time not only because of the buzz of Paris Fashion Week 2025, but because of Park Jimin from BTS, who successfully stole the spotlight on Dior's grand stage. On September 30th, 2025, Jimin's presence was not just about attending a fashion show, but marked a new milestone in his career journey as a global icon recognized in the world fashion industry. However, what made this moment even more emotional was the news that Jungkook, his fellow group member and close friend, quietly showed his sweet support that was no less attention-grabbing. How was that support shown? And why did armies all over the world become hysterical about it? Since the morning, Incheon Airport in South Korea turned into a sea of people. Hundreds of fans filled the departure area just to witness Jimin's departure to Paris. Wearing an elegant casual outfit with Dior's signature touch, Jimin appeared with the aura of a world-class star. His face was calm, his smile faint, but the cheers of armies made the atmosphere boil. Both local and international media rushed to capture every step he took. The hashtag #JiminAtParisFW instantly dominated global trending topics in just a few hours. This wasn't the first time Jimin drew the attention of the fashion world, but this time the atmosphere felt different, grander, more emotional, and more personal. Upon arriving in Paris, the glittering flashes of international media cameras immediately turned toward him. Dior, the legendary fashion house that has long made BTS part of its global strategy, welcomed Jimin like a main star. He attended the Dior Women's SS26 collection, and his presence reinforced his status as an Asian face that has now gone global. Every corner of the venue, from the red carpet to the VIP guest seats, was filled with whispers of admiration. "He is the moment," wrote one leading fashion media. But the spotlight was not only on Jimin's charisma on stage. Armies caught something more subtle, more touching: Jungkook's silent support. Not physically present in Paris, Jungkook suddenly uploaded a short post on his personal account. A photo of the night city with a simple caption, "Keep shining bright." Just 3 words, but the meaning immediately shook the hearts of armies. Fans instantly interpreted that the sentence was a special message for Jimin, who was shining on Dior's stage at that moment. Emotional reactions flooded social media. Thousands of comments, hundreds of thousands of retweets, and millions of likes were recorded in just hours. Armies felt that this small interaction was stronger than thousands of sweet words. They called it proof of Jungkook's silent support. It didn't stop there. Fans also found other interesting details. A few hours before the Dior fashion show began, Jungkook was seen wearing a simple accessory in one of his live broadcasts. It turned out that the accessory was identical to a small detail featured in Dior's latest collection, the same collection Jimin wore on the runway. Coincidence? Armies don't believe in coincidences. For them, it was a symbolic form that Jungkook was truly present, even from afar. That warmth carried armies worldwide into emotion, as if witnessing a friendship not only beautiful but also full of meaning. Meanwhile, behind Dior's stage, the enthusiasm of the global fashion staff for Jimin's presence was no less intense. Some Dior creatives even uploaded teasers before the event began with mysterious codes. One staff member wrote, "A legend is coming." That post sparked wide speculation that Dior had really prepared something special for Jimin. And indeed, when Jimin stepped into the VIP guest line, international cameras simultaneously turned toward him. Armies called that moment the second the world stopped, because all eyes seemed hypnotized by him. What made this story even more dramatic was how armies interpreted the emotional bond between Jimin and Jungkook. They saw that short interactions, small signs, even simple posts were enough to show closeness beyond just being groupmates. Jimin may have been shining on the fashion stage, but behind the scenes, Jungkook was always giving energy and support. "The two are like two sides of a coin that complement each other," wrote one viral fan comment. For the fashion world, Jimin is the representation of Korean cultural influence now expanding onto the global stage. But for armies, this story is far more personal. They see two friends supporting each other, not only in music, but also in new arenas like fashion. There is warmth, there is pride, and there are emotions that cannot be explained in words. This moment made many fans cry with emotion, realizing that BTS's journey is not only about career, but also about genuine friendship. Paris Fashion Week 2025 finally confirmed two major things at once. First, that Jimin has truly become one of the global fashion icons with undeniable influence. Second, that Jungkook, even without being physically present, remains an important part of Jimin's journey through his unique and meaningful form of support. The combination of the two created a touching narrative that true success is not only about camera spotlights, but also about who silently supports from behind the scenes. And that's what made ARMYs hysterical. They not only witnessed Jimin dazzling on Dior's stage, but also felt Jungkook's presence in every step he took. Amid Paris's sparkling lights, there was a simple yet timeless story of friendship, togetherness, and support that doesn't always need to be shown off. Jimin shined on the runway, Jungkook shined behind the scenes, and ARMYs became the silent witnesses of a moment that will forever be remembered in BTS history. If on the main stage of Paris Fashion Week 2025 Jimin successfully radiated his charm as Dior's icon, then behind the scenes the story that unfolded was even more stirring. ARMYs believed that this time's moment was not just an ordinary fashion show, but an important point that confirmed how BTS continues to make its mark in various fields. While Jimin appeared as Dior's face, Jungkook, unseen at the location, instead brought a surprise in a more personal way that made the public increasingly convinced that their friendship is one of the strongest bonds in the international entertainment world. Jimin's presence in Paris itself became a major talking point. Several international media highlighted how a K-pop artist can now sit alongside world fashion figures, even considered more influential than Hollywood stars. Dior officially introduced Jimin as a global representative, with a simple yet strong reason: his charisma and consistency. He is not only a music icon, but a symbol of modern culture that dares to push boundaries, wrote Vogue's European edition in its review. That statement confirmed that Jimin's position is no longer just a guest, but an important pillar of Dior's global fashion strategy. On the other hand, Jungkook's silent support further expanded the emotional narrative behind the glamorous event. His short post was considered a sign containing deep meaning. ARMYs around the world immediately linked the phrase "keep shining bright" with Jimin's long journey that has not always been easy. Since BTS's debut, Jimin has been known as a hardworking figure who is often too hard on himself. Because of that, Jungkook's simple message felt like a warm reminder for Jimin to keep shining without feeling burdened. ARMY's reactions were extraordinary. New hashtags like #JungkookParisVibes and #SupportFromJK immediately surfaced on Twitter and Weibo, trending alongside Jimin's news at Dior. Some fans even called the moment proof of silent love that didn't need to be shown with grand gestures because its meaning was deeper than anything seen in public. Many fans cried as they retold the story of that support on community platforms, admitting that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship inspired them to value small forms of support in their own daily lives. Not stopping there, ARMYs also carefully discovered another interesting pattern. In a brief interview before the event, Jimin wore a thin ring on his ring finger. At a glance, the accessory looked simple. However, fans noticed that the ring was identical to one Jungkook had been seen wearing a few weeks earlier in his live broadcast. Speculation grew wild. Was this another symbolic form of Jungkook's support for Jimin? Although there was never an official confirmation, ARMYs called it a secret language that could only be understood by those who had followed the closeness of the two BTS members for a long time. Meanwhile, Dior itself seemed aware of the global enthusiasm involving ARMYs. In one post on their official Instagram after the show ended, Dior displayed a close-up photo of Jimin with the short caption, "Elegance beyond borders." That post was flooded with millions of comments from ARMYs who combined pride over Jimin's achievement with emotion over Jungkook's support. Dior seemed to have cleverly harnessed this wave of emotion, as the impact expanded to set a new record for their social media engagement. Behind all the glamour, ARMYs continued to highlight how Jimin and Jungkook's emotional bond has never faded even as the two now pursue individual paths outside of group activities. For fans, The Paris moment was solid proof that true support does not always have to be seen in front of cameras. Sometimes it comes in the form of a simple message, a small accessory, or even a coincidence that turns out to be full of meaning. That's what makes their relationship feel real, wrote one viral TikTok comment. Furthermore, pop culture analysts believe that these small interactions actually add value to BTS's narrative as a strong group, not only because of their music, but also because of the emotional bond of its members. Jimin with his elegance on the runway, Jungkook with his personal support, and ARMYs with their loyalty, all blended together to create a story far beyond a fashion event. They prove that BTS is not just a musical phenomenon, but a cultural phenomenon, said an international fashion journalist in a television interview. Many observers believe that 2025 could be a decisive year for the individual journeys of BTS members outside of music. Jimin is now opening wider doors to the international fashion world, while Jungkook is known as an artist who continues to experiment with his music and global performances. Yet the story in Paris reminds everyone that no matter the individual achievements, the bond between them will always remain the irreplaceable core. ARMYs are convinced that their relationship will endure, no matter how strong the storms of the entertainment world. That night, as Jimin stepped out of the Dior venue with his still charming smile, the cheers of ARMYs outside roared like a concert. Many believed that behind that smile was gratitude for Jungkook's unspoken support. Cameras may have only captured the glitter of Dior outfits, but ARMY's hearts captured much more: warmth, closeness, and true brotherhood. Paris may have witnessed Jimin shining on the fashion stage, but the world knows that there is Jungkook who always supports from afar. And that is why ARMYs called this event not just a note in fashion history, but also an important chapter in BTS's eternal friendship story.